Pahalgam is a very unfortunate incident. Any place where innocent people are shot down in such a merciless fashion is condemnable and is very unfortunate and sad. Whether it's Pahalgam, whether it's Pulwama, or whether it's those many unnamed incidents, there is no plan, there is no strategy to prevent these incidents from happening. After something big happens, there is some symbolic activity done. It does not prevent the next big attack. Take responsibility and resign. That's the first demand. The second demand is that there has to be concrete action. China comes to India, takes over our land, occupies our land, kills our soldiers, and what does the government do? It bans TikTok. And probably the reason why there was no security in Pahalgam was probably because a lot of that security was being diverted to Nishikant Dubey's private party celebration. So what are the priorities of this government?
Countdown to Bihar elections have begun. In fact, just few months are left, and Congress is trying to revive itself in Bihar. How will it do it? What is the roadmap? We'll try and understand. Joining me now is a very special guest, Congress Bihar in charge, Krishna Alavaru, a young leader who's been very close to Rahul Gandhi. Thank you so much, Krishna, for joining. My first question to you, what is the kind of change you are seeing in Bihar since the time you have taken up the charge of the state?
Since I've gone to Bihar, my focus has been on focusing on issues that matter, the real issues, the issues of the people, because I feel ultimately politics and elections should be about putting people and their problems first. And that's what we have tried to do. And if there is any resonance, any visibility, any buzz, it's probably because after some time, the party is finally raising the issues where people are resonating with, identifying with, connecting with. And it's a small start. We would really like to build on it and keep the focus on things, issues, conversations that matter to the people.
But there has been a lot of buzz on the caste census, and apart from that, of course, unemployment, price rise, all those are issues which were resonating in the last Bihar elections also. I remember those huge rallies which were conducted by Tejasvi Yadav. But then at the end of the election, we saw that the Mahagathbandhan couldn't form the government. Now, what is that extra effort which you will put this time so that everybody knows that the Mahagathbandhan or the Grand Alliance is intact? It's very much visible with the efforts which you all are making. But what is that extra push you would add politically on the ground so that you are 100% sure that Grand Alliance will form the government this time in Bihar?
So firstly, I think elections have humbled everybody across states, across India, across the world at some time or the other. So there is no 100% result that one can predict or be confident about. Having said that, I think if you look at the 2020 Bihar election, it was a very, very close election. If you look at the vote difference between the Mahagathbandhan and the NDA at that time, it was a matter of 12 to 15,000 votes that made the difference between forming a government and being in opposition. What is also very interesting is, in some of those seats, which we lost narrowly, we lost on recounting because the Prashasan decided to go the other way. It's not because the mandate went with them. It was very clearly an administration ensured victory in some seats. This time, what we want to do is we want to continue focusing on the issues of the people, but this time we want to make sure that the Gathbandhan is much more systematically prepared. Last time it was very last minute. It was not well coordinated, and therefore we paid the price. This time we have started in advance, or we want to make sure that all the people are on board well in time, and there is enough coordination at the state level, at the district level, at the block level, at the panchayat and the ward levels. And this time I'm confident that we will have a good campaign, we will have good coordination, and we will have good clarity well in time. And that gives us reason to be positive about the elections.
To fight BJP politically on the ground, but you also have to fight out institutions like Election Commission. Now look at that example of Ranjit Kasle, that constable who came out on camera and said that he was paid 10 lakh rupees to change the EVMs in Maharashtra. And that video went viral, and which is very clear that Election Commission is allowing these things to happen. Now, what if this same thing is repeated in Bihar, the same thing is repeated in Tamil Nadu and Kerala? Is your Mahagathbandhan or is your party prepared to, tackle these emergency situations?
The institutions of this country are systematically being weakened by the Prime Minister and the Home Minister. The Election Commission of India is the institution that is supposed to ensure free and fair elections. The day the Election Commission of India becomes weak, or there is a question mark on its credibility, there is a question mark not just on the Election Commission of India, it's a question mark on free and fair elections, and therefore a question mark on the democracy of this country. It's a very serious issue. And if you have a problem with the Election Commission of India or the executive, where do you go? You go to the judiciary. The judiciary has repeatedly shown that they have succumbed to pressure from the executive. That's another case of that institution getting weakened. What are the other pillars? We have the media. The media again has shown, at least some people in the media have shown, very consistently, very strongly, that they will not focus on these issues. For example, the police constable in Maharashtra. How much was that shown in the media? If it is not shown in the media, people really don't get to know about the scale of the problem. So the opposition in India today is fighting elections on a very unlevel playing field. Like I gave you an example, in 2020, the administration ensured that BJP candidates win in closely contested seats.
Yes.
The judiciary has shown again that they can be partisan. The Election Commission of India has become the Election Commission of the BJP. The ED, the CBI, the IT are all not working for the government of India or the state government or for the people. They have become agencies of the BJP. We have a situation where finance plays a role in elections. It plays a role in elections across the states, across the world. And we have seen through the electoral bond schemes how one-sided the funding is. Even today, if somebody funds the BJP some money and the opposition some money, that person is raided almost immediately, or a phone call goes and he or she is warned. So finance is unlevel. Election Commission of India is Election Commission of BJP. The agencies work for the BJP. The media seems to succumb to pressure from the BJP. The judiciary time and again has shown that it's pliable with the BJP. So we are fighting an election in some ways with both hands tied. And we are doing the best thing that we can. Sometimes we can do better, but until these things are fixed, it is going to be a very, very difficult job for the opposition to consistently win elections.
No, but yeah, in a way you are admitting that if you're fighting elections with your hands tied. So you don't know whether victory will come your way or not. And that is why exactly I asked you that for Bihar elections, is your party also preparing itself to tackle situations like these? Like so that, another Ranjit Kasle is not paid 10 lakh rupees in Bihar. So how do you ensure that this thing doesn't happen? That was my question.
See, if a Ranjit Kasle is paid 10 lakhs, and that's the tip of the iceberg, and if Ranjit Kasle is not acted upon by the people who are supposed to act upon him, and he's not punished, or the people who have paid him are not punished, then what's going to happen in the next state? The people who are going to pay the constables and the constables who are going to take the money are going to feel emboldened. So it's going to happen even more blatantly, even more openly, at a larger scale. While we can make efforts, we can take steps, we can be more aggressive in addressing these challenges, there are limitations to how much an opposition can do if the wrongdoers are not being punished. 10 लाख रुपए जिसने दिया कांस्टेबल को, उस पे आपने क्या एक्शन लिया? और ये हमारी दिक्कत है. हम निगरानी रखेंगे कि ईवीएम बदले ना, लेकिन क्लोज डोर के पीछे आप पुलिस वाले को ही पैसे दे के करवा रहे हो तो ऑपोजिशन को पता भी नहीं चलेगा. अगर इलेक्शन कमीशन के लोग ही ईवीएम में गड़बड़ कर रहे हैं तो ऑपोजिशन को पता ही नहीं चलेगा. जहां पता चलेगा हम रोकने का प्रयास कर सकते हैं. लेकिन ये जो दीमक है, ये हमारे these termites are now eating into every part of the democratic constitutional structure of this country. And it happens with termite infestations. It first eats up the wood before it becomes visible. And that is exactly what is happening. And it's not a problem for just the Congress party or for the opposition. It is a problem for every concerned citizen of India. And I would go beyond that to say that it's a problem that if the largest democracy in the world is just a democracy in shell, then the world is going to take a direct turn, probably towards a very fascist type of governance system.
That's right. And getting you back to one or two questions related to Bihar, and then I'll move on to the other topic. That what the alliance in Bihar remains intact. You have a very good relation with RJD, but what about declaring Tejasvi Yadav as the face, or maybe somebody from your party, if you're that confident that Congress will win a sizable number of seats?
I think in Bihar, our biggest focus is on two things. One is to make sure that the people of Bihar understand the scale of injustice that is they have been subjected to. When I say injustice, I just don't mean from a legal system, from a law and order standpoint. I mean it across social, political, economic parameters. We have 28 big states in this country, and Bihar, on most parameters that matter, is either at the bottom, 28, 27, or 26. And it's important for the people of Bihar to realize that their situation is worse than most Indian states. And therefore, the question is, why do they accept it? Till when will they accept it? So the first thing that we want to do in Bihar is to make sure that people understand the level of injustice that has happened with them over time on economic parameters, on social parameters, on political parameters, across the board. The second thing that we need to do is assure the people of Bihar that we have a strong agenda, vision, roadmap to make Bihar a better place.
So you think that declaring X, Y, or Z as the chief ministerial phase months before elections is not going to help the alliance in any way?
See, I think what really matters is people have to understand what is happening with them, understand that we as a Gathbandhan have a clear agenda. And then when to declare, I'm not saying it's not important, maybe it is, but I'm saying there is a sequence and there is a time and a place and a process by which that decision will be taken and announced. Right now, our focus is on ensuring that people realize that their problems are not being addressed, their problems are not being discussed, their problems are not being seen or shown, and then that we have an alternate roadmap, which is a stronger, better roadmap to make Bihar a better state for all the people of Bihar. Once we do these two things, we can go to the next part and see as and when it's necessary. And we are looking at this across in many different ways to realize what is the timing, what is the decision, what is the announcement, and what is the process by which we get there. So we are thinking about all these things. We will come to those questions and we will probably give Bihar some answers when we are ready and when we think that time is right. Right now, our focus is on these two issues and vision.
Right. Coming to Pahalgam now, what do you think should be a vociferous demand of the opposition, rather than just saying that something tangible should be done by the government? Now, they've come up with some 5 retaliatory measures which they have taken against Pakistan. But they're all symbolic, whether it is suspending the Indus Water Treaty or whether it is the downscaling of the high commissions, whether it is closing down of the Atari border. Now, how much of that is going to help? Everybody knows we anyways didn't have a proper relation with Pakistan. So all that is very, very symbolic. But we need some very strong answers. And how will the opposition step up that pressure on the government at this point of time? And Congress being a principal opposition party, there are a lot of expectations from your party as to what you're going to speak to the government about.
Pahalgam is a very unfortunate incident. Any place where innocent people are shot down in such a merciless fashion is condemnable and is very unfortunate and sad. Having said that, what we should realize is that Pahalgam is not the first time this has happened. This has happened in Kashmir over 400 times in the last few years. Over 400 times in the last few years. And both security personnel and innocent lives, more than 1,000 people have lost their lives. So what this tells us is whether it's Pahalgam, whether it's Pulwama, or whether it's those many unnamed incidents, there is no plan, there is no strategy to prevent these incidents from happening. After something big happens, there is some symbolic activity done. It does not prevent the next big attack. And this is a failure from the highest levels of the government, because Kashmir is directly being overseen by the Prime Minister and the Home Minister. And if they're repeating the same formula and getting the same results, then we don't see any hope of it changing. So firstly, they should take responsibility and resign. That's the first demand. The second demand is that there has to be concrete action. China comes to India, takes over our land, occupies our land, kills our soldiers, and what does the government do? It bans TikTok. That's not what you expect from a prime minister or a home minister. You have to find ways of taking back the land. And if banning TikTok is a solution, then tomorrow they will come and occupy Delhi. And what will you do? You will ban some other app. Day after they will come all the way to Bangalore. What will you do? You will ban some other app. That's not the way governments are run. So the Prime Minister and the Home Minister should stop being symbolic and should show some substantive action and, more importantly, substantive results. And we are not seeing that happening. We haven't seen that happen in the last 11 years. And I, for one, do not have any confidence that we're going to see that happening in the near future.
I'll also ask you some questions on Nishikant Dubey, because there's a video which has gone viral since yesterday of his anniversary celebrations, where we are getting to know that there were several security personnel guarding that event, but the tourists were left to die. What would you say? And it's the timing of that video is seems to be very insensitive. That the government didn't bother for the security of the tourists, but the government had all the focus on the security of Nishikant Dubey.
It's very, very unfortunate that a member of parliament from the Prime Minister and the Home Minister's party has a private celebration, and there's nothing wrong with a private celebration. A private celebration in Kashmir with multiple levels of security. When thousands of tourists from all across India, Indian citizens, have gone to Kashmir and there is no security. And probably the reason why there was no security in Pahalgam was probably because a lot of that security was being diverted to Nishikant Dubey's private party celebration. So what are the priorities of this government? Is Nishikant Dubey's celebration a priority, or is the safety of thousands of Indians from all across India more important? By its actions, this government, this Prime Minister, this Home Minister has shown that Nishikant Dubey's private celebration is more important to them than the lives and security of thousands of common Indian citizens who have come to Kashmir from all across India. And the people of the country should wonder and should ask the Prime Minister and the Home Minister, why did you let this happen? How could you let this happen? It's a question that each concerned Indian citizen should ask. Is the security of this country, is the army, is the CRPF, is the BSF, are the paramilitary forces, are the police forces meant for private celebrations of VVIPs from the ruling party, or are they meant to secure the borders of this country, to safeguard the citizens of the country? Right now, it seems that the Prime Minister and the Home Minister are deputing all these people for VVIP celebrations. It's ridiculous.
One last question before I wind up the interview, and that's a little personal question. That you being from South India and now being asked to take charge of a state like Bihar, does it come as a strange land for you? And do you feel that you're not very familiar? How do you sink in with the mindset and with the with the entire atmosphere there?
So I think any state in India is very rich, very complex, and very, very interesting. So I welcome the opportunity to get to know Bihar in a much deeper way from multiple perspectives. I think that's very, very exciting to me. I also realize that Bihar is a political challenge. Language, not so much, because I speak Hindi and I understand Hindi. But it's just a very different state. And if there's one thing I wished, I would have wanted a little bit more time. But things always don't happen the way you want it. So I'm trying to make the best out of whatever time I have. But I'm quite excited about working in Bihar.
Thank you so much, Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.